Okay, so now I'm going to teach you how to glue a straight seam. Straight seam is very simple. What you'll need from your kit is your glue, your latex adhesive, white spirit, container, putting small amounts of glue in, seam roller, an applicator of some kind, a brush, credit card, spatula, and latex. This is 2 colours. I actually ran out of latex, so I'm making kind of a hodgepodge back panel for a white tank top, and I'm putting in a natural coloured piece just to make it cover the distance I need. You'll also need a rag. Gather all that stuff up. Okay, so you just gather up all your pieces, and first thing you need to do is clean them. So you get your rag, you get your white spirits. Little white spirits on the rag. It's also a good idea to cut your finger, because that's what I did. All the cool kids are doing it. And you simply clean the edges where you're going to glue. Very simply. Try not to get blood on everything. Or you could do what I do and get blood everywhere. With the white spirits, it's a very good idea to open a window. Simply because it's very strong smelling. Okay, so the white spirit is dried and I'm just laying out the latex. Basically this is how I want it to go. I'm going to glue this in. Now I'm going to glue along this seam and along this seam. Which goes without saying, you want to glue the seams that you need gluing. You're going to overlap the latex no more than 1 centimetre. Because bear in mind, the more you overlap, you reduce the garment size by that much. Now ideally it'll look something like that. The great thing about the translucent natural is you get to see. Now you won't always get to see, it's very much a by eye method, but that's what you're aiming for. Now the reality is a little trickier, because the rubber cement, this stuff will cause it to curl. So pour out a small amount of glue. Careful about drips and stuff, because glue will take the shine off. That's why you glue it on the dull side, generally. Get your applicator, get your glue. This is quite tricky sometimes, and it will curl again. I told you it will curl when it's wet and the glue is wetting it. You want to get a good covering, no more than 1 centimetre. Okay. You just don't need to go any thicker. Now what you're thinking is you're getting some glue on your surface. Make sure it's a surface you can rub the glue off. The glue is pretty easy to remove. In fact, you won't stick the seam with this glue until you seam roll it. So if you do mess up a little, you can lift the seam out and go again. Now, you see I've got glue on my surface. What I do is just drag it back from that and just wipe that off. Then you simply get your piece that you're gluing and lay it down on top of it. Now when I'm doing a straight seam, I like to lay it in its entirety and just push it and pull it as I see fit. Again, there's no right and wrong way to do this. This is just how I do it. And I just like to stipulate again, I'm not a professional yet. I hope to be. I'd love to design latex professionally, but I suspect so would a lot of people. And my lack of gluing skills means there's going to be competition, I suspect. Right. Now as you can see, it thickens slightly. It just depends on how particular you are. If you're okay with it being 1 millimetre out, that's cool, but like I say, you can lift it and lay it back down. Now that is roughly where I want to be. It will be a little wavy. When it dries, you will get some of that waviness out. This would have been more wavy when it was wet, and it kind of became a little bit flatter. So I generally start from the middle, for the simple reason if you run from one end to the other, you can often push the latex and it'll wrinkle. So I seam roll in small amounts. Beautiful. Now I turn it over and I check the other side. It's all straight. It's got blood on it. It's my blood, not an axe murderer. And that is what an amateur can hope to achieve. If yours is better, maybe you should consider a career in latex. And on your way to the top, take me with you. Simply do the same on the other side. Now, this stuff will get tacky, as you can see. I don't know if you can actually see it there. It's actually formed a film on top, which means it started to dry. Now I still use this stuff. I just mix it up a little and keep going with it until it's very gummy. But some people who find it easy to get this glue may just want to use fresher stuff. And again, we're seeing it wrinkling up, which is, in my experience, completely normal. You don't want any big blobs of glue on here too, so that if you see me spreading it out, that's what I'm doing. So if you see it drying, don't worry too much. Like I said, this stuff actually is a chemical process, so it's got quite a long drying time, whereas it might appear dry after just a short while. The rubber cement won't have cured for hours. If you're watching my tutorial and I'm doing something really wrong, by all means comment. Like I said, not a professional. And again, we just lay this over the top, being as careful as we can to line it up as well as we can. Also, there's an issue with this piece that it has to line up down here at the bottom. That can be tricky, so just a straight edge is always good. It's also a good idea to keep the seams parallel, though it's easier said than done. Okay, and voila, there we go. That is a straight seam, and that's about as good as I get it. So, you just leave it 4 or 5 hours to cure. Just ensure it's stuck. It's always good to check both sides, and I am reasonably happy with that. Couple of tiny imperfections, but what are you gonna do? Nobody's perfect. And that is the panel in question inserted into the finished garment. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit.